Notts County Talk, we are live with episode 3 of the Pavis Perspective. It's been a very good start to the season, I think, wouldn't you say, George?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I don't know if everyone would agree as such with the Torquay result. I think we probably could have got a couple of more points in that game. I know all the players and Bertrand will think it as well because of the press conferences that came out today. But, in the grand scheme of things, picking up a point against teams like that probably will be in and around the top 3, maybe not so Torquay, but Wrexham definitely. I think they're good points.
Yeah. We're going to talk more about the Wrexham game in just a second. A little bit of housekeeping first. You'll see in the chat, we've put 2 things in there. The first is a link to vote for us for the Best in Non-League Creators at the Football Content Awards. We'll massively appreciate that if you could do so. Just click the link, find Non-League, and then we are down under Notts County Talk Creators. And the other one is if you could spare a moment to just look at our Just Giving page running the Robin Hood Half Marathon to support the Notts County Foundation. And you don't even have to donate. You could just share it. Massive help for us. Yep. So going back to Wrexham then. This is a weird one. We're either at the games together or we're not there. This time we get 2 different points of view.
Mm-hmm.
You're obviously watching on TV. Couldn't make it to the game.
Yep.
I was at the game. 2 different points of view. We'll go with yours first. How did you see that game?
I mean, I feel it was a really good performance. Impressed me quite a lot, actually. Defensively solid, like really solid against long throws, corners, free kicks that we've been struggling from for years. I think Rawlinson was brilliant. I thought all the defenders were brilliant. I just think what a difference it was to even against Torquay. I think a lot more resilient. A lot more firm, and I think in that first half, I thought we played really, really well, really well. Best performance for me that I've seen so far this season was that first half against Wrexham.
It's interesting because where the Notts fans were positioned at Wrexham, they were shooting sort of towards our end, Wrexham first half. So we had a perfect view of the back line. And other than a couple of times they got in behind Joel Taylor, that back line was perfect, absolutely perfect. I mean, yes, they had quite a few chances, but a lot of them were restricted to either a cross into the box, a long throw, or a shot from the edge of the box. Never did they really break down and get into a box for a clear goal-scoring opportunity, and then neither did we. But at the same time, we've travelled to Wrexham, and we weathered an early storm, went in with a lead, and I think we played it very, very well, very well.
I think the good thing about it as well, and it's something that I quite liked in the virtual press conference today, was apparently there's 24 cameras there, for the documentary that they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, proper spoiled their first home game that would be on that documentary, and you just love it. Like, you can just imagine, like, in the documentary, it'll show you Wotton scoring that header sort of against the run of play. So, yeah, you love to see stuff like that.
I'll tell you what, though, what was noticeable for us, and it would obviously be noticeable to you, the players running off, and the BT cameras, as the Notts players running off, just panning, looking at the Notts players. As soon as the Wrexham players off, they're right in their faces looking at them. That I'd rather us not have that kind of media attention and pressure on us because it's not good.
I agree. I think it's sort of, I wouldn't say it relieves masses of pressure off Notts because there's that sort of expectability, isn't there? If you go into Notts County or you play in Notts County. I don't want to sound arrogant by saying that, but it is true. A lot of fans say it. There's a few teams in this league like that, but I think Wrexham really have put the spotlight on themselves with the way that they were in the transfer market, the way they've been. The owners are very vocal on social media. I've seen Ryan Reynolds, I can't remember what Rob McLean is or something like that. Put a TikTok up of them having martinis at 9 o'clock in the morning because Wrexham got their win. Like, it's very commercial, isn't it? And it's very in your face. So it's kind of good to have that because I think it kind of takes the edge off, Notts being that sort of should be in the EFL kind of team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, these days in football, 90% of teams do it unless they're a big team trying to flex their muscles. You don't have to announce a transfer fee. You can just say undisclosed.
Yeah.
You don't have to say we spent 200k on a big player because inevitably there's one spot that's automatic in this league. The odds would say no matter how much you spend, the odds are stacked against you.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So it You know, it could go wrong, and I hope for not sake it does go wrong. And you know what? I don't think they were incredible. They were good, but they weren't incredible.
You can see it.
They had long throws.
Sorry, Ron. You can see against like sides that maybe not set up as well, they'll absolutely get the tally going.
I do agree that if that was Dover, it'd be 4-0 at half time. That would have been It was 4-0 at half time.
At times it was relentless, but the level of defending, like one thing that sticks out in my mind is where a ball's coming across and it's literally falling. It was either Hyde or Mullins' feet, and Rawlinson just comes across the 6-yard box and clears it out, like proper last ditch stuff, and he clears the ball out for a corner, and it's probably for me a game changing defensive move, because that was quite early on in the game as well.
Yeah, after Torquay, I gave him a 3.5 in our player ratings. 3.5. I know he did the player ratings for the Wrexham game, but I probably would have given him an 8.5.
I think I gave him an 8. I can't know. I think I gave him an 8.
He was very good. Cameron was good. Cameron's assist was unbelievable. And you know what? Like we were just saying, we scored against a run of play. We also scored a genuine Premier League quality goal against a run of play. The way that Wootton peels off the back, it's absolutely brilliant. And the header, there's not a massive amount of power he generates from the header, so he has to place it perfectly.
Yeah,
and it's just a fantastic goal. That's something I want to talk about. Talk about Carl Wootton. 3-3 is ticking along. Didn't BT say before the game he's not a natural goal scorer?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe you could make a bit of a, maybe there's elements of truth about that, I think, because there are some positions and that we've seen him getting maybe last season and in pre-season when you're thinking you've got to be doing better there. But, he's got one in every game he's played this season. It doesn't get much better than that for any player at any level. So for them to say that is, I think it's just a little bit. They like taking jabs at not having that BT.
I do think they do. With their goal, Mullins scored it, didn't he? He's had a half chance there and he scored. And I don't really think many other chances he's had all game. That's the only difference. If you give Carl Wootton, as much as he's done well, a half chance in a big game, you back him, maybe he doesn't take that. Mullin takes it. But we're wrapping up the Wrexham result. For me, the biggest thing about that is we didn't let them get 3 points on us. That's massive. Absolutely huge.
I think it gives confidence as well to the team that they can play the way that they had to against Wrexham and not this visually impressive football. It was sort of really tough dogfight, wasn't it? Really, real defensive game.
Well, I've been a bit worried about that. I will say I've been a bit worried that we're one-dimensional. And then I see the team news come out and we're all stood there in I don't even know what you call it. It was like a little concrete corridor at Wrexham, but we're all stood there and the team news comes out. No Ruben, no Cal. You think, hang on a minute then. Let's see what we're doing here. And it's nice that we can switch it up. And Kyra Mitchell, for me, especially he drove into the box and crossed it. He just needed a tap in. Good cross, but players couldn't keep up. Yeah. Kyra Mitchell, for me, offers a different option now. We can go 2 up top. Very, very good. Massive. Yeah. So, we've come to the end of this 3-game run. We've absolutely demolished Barnet. We've kind of slipped up against Torquay but remained unbeaten. And we've gone to Wrexham, who most people think are going to win the league. And bar about 35 long throws and a couple of long ranges, we've kind of kept them out.
And a wet towel.
Yeah, and a wet towel. I'd have loved the not. All it needed was Taylor or Kelly Evans just go up and just squirt his water bottle on that towel, and it's ineffective.
Yeah.
I'm saying the ball was probably out of play 20 minutes at least of that game. It did get, as much as this is just me sounding a bit because Notts didn't win, it was boring. It was literally boring. Like the ball will go out and there'll be 45 seconds waiting for a throw in.
Very reminiscent of Stoke.
Yeah, it is basically Rory Delap in it.
Yeah,
200k Rory Delap that went down the cramp. But there we go. We've got through these 3. We've now got 5 very, I don't want to say it,
winnable.
I would say favourable games. I can't say winnable in this division. We've slipped up too many times. But they're 5 games that I posted on Twitter earlier. What do we expect to take from this? A lot of people said 15. That's crazy coming into the National League, which is tricky. We'll go through this, George. You can give me some predictions here. I say win, lose, or draw. What if Notts were to play these teams right off now? Aldershot at home. You got to go win. You got to expect to win.
Yeah, I agree. But someone commented that when I posted this in the Facebook groups earlier, someone made it a good point about the opening games. They've lost all 3, haven't they? Yeah. They're not going to be wanting to come to Notts and just get battered, are they? So I think it's going to be a very difficult game, more so than people think. I hope it is an easy, straightforward win. I don't think it will be. I mean, I think honestly, out of all the games that we have there, if we were to drop points, I can see it being against Aldershot.
But on paper, you're thinking you've got to beat them. We then go Weymouth away. If you're going to win the league,
must win,
or you're going to get promoted, you've got to win. So that's 2 wins you're expecting. Wealdstone at home. It's got to be a win. It has to be a win. You're looking at 3 wins. Maidenhead at home. Maidenhead are decent. They've got Sam Barrett, who's pretty good. But again, you've got to say, if you want to go, you've got to win that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Altrincham away.
Must win.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously beat Torquay away, scoring 3. But that was, for me, first day sort of strange results. You've got 5 games there you have to win. You've got to, and I said this to you earlier while we were prepping this video. I'll take 1 draw just because you get something could happen in a game. You know, a penalty against who want to play, a penalty that shouldn't have been given, a red card for Notts, would you want after the ones we've had?
Poor official.
Yeah, well, that's every game, isn't it? That's every game. But there's always room. So I'm going to say a minimum of 13 points.
Yeah, I'd agree. 13.
Absolute minimum.
I think to win 5 games on the bounce, I don't think Notts have ever done that in the National League, have they?
Yeah, I think we did at the end of last season. I'm sure we won 6 in a row to end the season.
Then. Yeah,
I'm sure we did.
Nice and early then. Let's get 5 together.
No, we didn't. We won 3, drew, and then won 2.
Unbeaten in 6.
Unbeaten in 6. Actually, unbeaten in 7, but there we go. So we're looking at Aldershot then. Lost their first 3. You know, they've scored 1 and they've conceded 5. Last year was odd. We had them up there. They had Ross McCormack on the books. What happened there, I don't know. This is a very different game to Wrexham, isn't it? Very, very, very different.
Yeah. The expectation sort of shifts, doesn't it? The expectation is solely on us, which naturally brings more pressure to Notts to win. I mean, they have to, but for me, this is a big game for Notts, as much as it may not look like it and feel like it to some fans. I think if we can go out against Aldershot this early in the season with the results and performances that we've had so far this season and get a good win and a convincing win at that, I think it really puts us in good stead for those the following 4 games to pick up as many points as possible. Because it's going to be a tough season. Like, we can't have too many games where we're dropping silly points here and there and stuff like that, like we have in the last couple of seasons, where you're sort of feeling like we should have finished higher really in the last couple of seasons. I think maybe not so much the first one because it ended early, didn't it? But even then, we said we probably still could have gone on to win the league. But yeah, I think this is an important game. I think if we get a really good win against Aldershot, it'll put us in a really good position going forward.
100%. I mean, look at their results. They lost 2-0 at home to Chesterfield in the opening day. I think Chesterfield, in my head, were always going to start strong. They've had a pretty straightforward start to the season anyway. I think they've had Kingsley and Wealdstone and Aldershot. They're always going to start well. They're buoyed by getting Tashimanga. They're buoyed by getting, Miller, Calvin Miller, all these other players. Aldershot then lost at Boreham Wood. Boreham Wood are okay. I think they've won. They might have actually won all the games. And then they've lost. Yeah, they've lost at home to Yeovil. You look at those 3, although Aldershot have started poorly, they're not easy games.
They're not.
They're not.
And you look at the Yeovil game as well. I mean, I watched the highlights earlier before we came on to do this, and I think they only lost that to Yeovil to a penalty, wasn't it? And it was a very dramatic dive for that penalty. So I don't know.
Are you scared of Christian Oxlade-Chamberlain?
Petrified.
Absolute mammoth of a player at Notts.
He's going to injure one of our players. That's the only thing that scares me.
Yeah, he's played all 3 for them. Let's hope he plays again. But all in all, the squad's weaker than last year. It's definitely a lot weaker. That goes on to our team then. I think it's a tough one. I posted on Twitter, it's a really tough side. So as we start to go through the side, if you're commenting, put your choices of who would play where. Max and Alan have said we just need to go out from the first minute, and these are the teams we need to just rip into straight away. I completely agree.
Yeah.
The way we went against Barnet, we know we're capable of it. But our team then, so Cal and Ruben are relatively fresh. I can't believe I'm saying this, I thought Cal was pretty poor when he came on against Wrexham, but it's a tough one to come on to. They've 100% worked out that you double up on him when he cuts inside, which is a worry, because against Torquay and against Wrexham, once he cut inside and he was showing again, it was just a simple pass. He couldn't really do anything. We need to see what he did. Do you remember what he did against Barrow when he was shown inside? And he did it against against Barnet in the playoffs. He cut down the line, but they're getting out to him much earlier, so he needs to find a way to sort that. And Ruben, class, but they're both fresh. So we'll go through the lineup then, and this gives a chance to talk about a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Go on.
He's not had the best of starts, has he? Sam Slocum.
No.
By any stretch. I feel like he'd be quite disappointed with himself. I think he's shown that he's had a couple of mistakes in him, especially in pre-season. You know, if you watch the match reviews that I did, you'll have seen that a couple of the goals that we did concede were due to keepers' errors.
Derby and York spring to mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And we conceded a goal against Torquay and a goal against Wrexham that sort of pin on Slocum a little bit. So I feel like, he's made those mistakes, but I do feel like his quality, like everyone was saying at the start of the season, he's the best keeper in the league and all that, and I do agree, he's definitely up there as one of the best in the league. I think we just got to get behind him a little bit and not get on his back as such, because he's going to hit that form. You just know he is. It's Sam Slocum, he's shown his qualities. He's a proven goalkeeper, and he's been really good for us. He's not just good as well at goalkeeping. You know, you've seen the way he talks in press conferences. He's a great bloke, and you can tell that he does a lot for the younger players, and he commands very well. His distribution's really good. So, yeah, I think he's undroppable. I mean, you can't really drop him anyway because you don't really have an alternative, but no, I wouldn't even if we did have the alternative.
We'd heard, hadn't we, through a few people that he was going to be captain, but Birchnell decided he wanted someone that wasn't that far back on the pitch to be captain. So that speaks a lot that he was actually up there to be the captain. Not many keepers do that, and to even be considered for that is good. Obviously, Cameron got that, and I actually thought Cameron had been pretty poor up until the Wrexham game, in which in the end he was fantastic. So we'll go in Slocum. Mick says I'd rather have Slocum than any other. I agree. I'd much rather have Slocum than any other keeper in the league. You're getting this out of his system early. He needs the weakness in his game is when the ball comes in from a cross, and teams. Maybe that's why Tozer was doing so many long throws, because they were effectively a cross. And if they hadn't bombarded that much, it probably would have been all right. But it's just the sheer amount of things he had to deal with, because he's not massive, is he? I think he's 6 foot, maybe a little bit bigger. But we're going Slocum in goal. Back three. What do you think? Brindley has to start.
Rawlinson and Cameron have to start for me. I don't think you can change it.
There needs to be a game in the next 5 games where Alex Lacey can come in.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
I think the difficult thing with Lacey, I mean, you possibly could say that the next 5 games will be ideal for him to be getting minutes back into like proper match fitness, but I can't see him starting a game for at least 4 weeks. I'm probably going to get proven wrong now. And at 2 p.m. on Saturday, Alex Lacey starts his first game since blah, blah, blah. But no, I can't see him because he's not match fit, is he? He's not going to be match sharp. So I can see him maybe being brought on for 20 minutes for a couple of games, get his fitness back up, get his match sharpness back. And then...
I really,
I know you like him, I know. But so much. I think you've just got to take it that steady. I don't think you can chuck him straight in. after not playing football for what seems like an eternity.
I'll say right here, right now, if he starts to play games, he'll be the best centre-back we've got because he'll suit Bertrand's style. He's so calm on the ball. Yeah. He's not a massive physical presence, but he's so good. Don't forget, he's been in League One level.
Yeah.
He's really, really good. So I probably agree that Lacey won't play this week. I think we've got a Tuesday home game coming up, I think we go Altrincham, Aldershot, then Weymouth, and I think we're Maidenhead at home. I could see him playing the Maidenhead at home. It's or Wealdstone at home, I think it is. I could definitely see that. He needs to be integrated back into the team. But I think we both agree it's the same back three as last game. Yeah?
Yeah.
Wing backs them. Dion's not been completely up to scratch. And I actually thought from my perspective, Joel Taylor got beaten so easily. But at the same time, if he's been ill, he does take it out of you because by the end of that game, he was blowing.
Mm-hmm.
So where do we sit with the wing backs?
I think I'm the same as well. For me, Dion's got to stay in and Joel's got to stay in. I think that Joel is the epitome, I feel like, of Bertrand ball. He makes it work for me. And I think against Aldershot, where I think we're going to have a lot more of the ball and have a lot more chances created and chances on goal. I think he suits it. So I think for me, it has to be Joel Taylor out on the left.
What about Nemain on the right?
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely make a case for him, and I wouldn't mind seeing either or, to be honest with you. I think he definitely offers a lot more going forward than Dion. And maybe it would be interesting to see him get a start as well. So, yeah, I mean, what would you say?
I'm going Nemain to start.
Yeah.
I think, like Alan and Max said earlier in the chat, go at them from the first minute. And you know what? If we go 2 up and 60 minutes gone, bring Kelly Evans on. But at the same time, he's just not been 100%. But we need to rotate at the same time. We've got to rotate because Nemain's had a half of football this season. I think maybe he got on against Barnet. I'm not sure. But so you're going Dion and Taylor. I'm going Nemain and Taylor just for this one. Dion's still my first choice right wing back though. Midfield is tricky because I feel like the attack is going to be Cal, Ruben, and Wharton again. I feel like they'll all drop back in. They've got to. I'm sure they will. I don't think Cairo will start after coming on after 50 or 60 minutes. They're going to be fresh. Fresh. So for me, they're back this. That just leaves a midfield 2, and it's who plays them. Palmer, 100%.
Palmer for me is first. He's probably one of the first names on the team sheet for me.
So who pairs with him?
Job
over Francis, do you think?
Yeah, just for this game. I think it's going to be a little bit more open. I think they're going to be more liable to be stretched. And what better player to stretch a team than Jim O'Brien?
I don't know.
I don't think it's going to leave us too open either, to be honest with you. I think Palmer can do quite a good job attacking wise or sort of sitting a little bit deeper. So I think he can sort of cover that role that Francis has. And I think just to have that sort of more attacking threat that Jim brings.
How old is Jim?
Is he 32?
He's not too old. And he's I'm sure if you saw one of those little things, the vest though, I don't know if
the Carter's vest.
Yeah, I'm sure he must run more than anyone on that pitch. And the amount of sprints he does as well. And he's not getting the ball played to him. And actually, you don't think of Jim O'Brien as someone that can take a man on, but he can't necessarily take a man on, but he can work room for a cross or a pass.
Yeah.
So, you look at it that way. I don't want him to get burnout because I think he's an insanely important player for Notts. I know we're only 3 games into the season, but the amount of effort he's putting in, I don't want him to get burnout or pick up an injury. Yeah. If you go to Weymouth away, I know they're a week apart, but you look at if you're looking at Francis and you're looking at Job. For me, Francis is an Aldershot at home player, and Jim is a Weymouth away player. That's my preference, anyway.
I know what you mean.
Max says, go on, Karen.
I'll go on to what's Matt said.
Well, Max says, when do you think we'll see Frank Vincent?
That's a good point. That's a very good point. There's a lot about him on social media. I remember a few Walsall fans saying you'll get player of the season for you and that. And it's always exciting when other fans say that. Yeah,
Not getting at this rate.
He's not even going to get a showing at this rate, is he? But no, that's a good point. When will we see Frank Vincent? And it's just more depth to the squad, isn't it?
We literally don't know. He could literally come in and be better than Job and better than Francis. We just don't have a clue. He could come in and be better than Palmer, which I doubt. But it's always. I'm
excited to see him though, because when he did his little video when he joined, he was saying he likes doing the link-up play, the 1-2s and stuff like that. So it's all exciting football, isn't it? So interesting to see him develop, I suppose.
Yeah. Right, we're going to get our score predictions in. You can do the same, but before we do the score predictions, this isn't an advert or anything. This is just something very good that we're also on the app, the Fan Hub app that we've been.
I was just going to say this.
Yeah, it's now live for the National League team, so it's live for Notts fans. Basically, if you download the app, I think as if they're just waiting for approval on the on Apple, but it's live on Android definitely.
It's done. I've got it there.
It's done. So basically,
I was just about to start picking my team.
Yeah. You can pick your team for the game, basically, and depending on, say, I get 9 right and George gets 8 right, I will go above George in the Notts County fan leaderboard. And you sort of compete with fans. You also check in how far you go to games. So I live 6 miles away from Meadow Lane. When I was testing the app last weekend, my total miles travelled was 6. I then check in at Wrexham and it ups to, 100 and something or whatever it was. And you compete with Notts fans who's travelled the furthest. You also keep tabs of when you checked into games, how many goals you've seen, the top goal scorer you've seen. It inputs it all for you into the app. So I think it's a pretty good way of Notts fans to compete.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. It's really good. I've been trying it out here as well. It's really good. And to have that sort of leaderboard element to it where we can all sort of
see who's on top.
A bit of competition, friendly competition between Notts fans. It's exciting. It'll actually be interesting to see who comes out on top at the end of the season.
Again, this isn't another. I actually do know that the top 3 fans at the end of each month in the Football League at the minute are getting a free match ticket.
Yeah,
to a game of their choice in the next month. Now, if that comes into National League, happy days. It's generally not an advert. It's just a very good app. So download Fan Hub, and we do get some golden tickets because you get put in like a queue of 600 people, and we'll just jump you the queue.
I do actually have one on my account. So if anyone in the chat wants one,
just message us on Twitter, and we'll give you a
Twitter.
ticket.
Yeah, I'll send you mine over.
It's all live. Right then, let's go on to the prediction. I'll go first because you always seem to go first, and it's not really fair. I get quite upset. I'm going to go Notts County 2, Aldershot 0. And I'm going Kyle Wootton 4-4. And I'm also going with a header, Ruben Rodriguez, because he is classing, yeah? I'm 2-0.
Good stuff. I've not really thought about this one, but I feel like it's going to be one of those games. When fans were back for Weymouth, I feel like it's going to have that feel to it. Do you know what I mean? Where there's a lot of expectation of plenty of chances created, and we're going to see an exciting game, and we're going to score plenty of goals. Now, I'm probably going to sound a bit hypocritical by saying this, because I said out of the next 5 games, I can see us drawing this one. But I can also see us running away with it as well. I'm going 3-0 Notts. I agree with you. I think Wootton will get another one. I think Ruben's going to get one from a set piece. And I think Cameron's going to get off the mark as well from the corner.
You said Cameron every game.
Yeah, I know.
He's not scored yet.
I'm not saying next week, and then he'll probably get a goal.
I do think it's going to... I can either see us being one of those games where you get 20 minutes in and all the fans know it's one of those that Notts are just doing the Notts. And we're all, every 20 minutes in, we're all like, oh, because they're passing balls astray like the first 5 minutes against Torquay.
Yeah, before you know it, all you're hearing is, get it forward.
Yeah, exactly. Or... I can see it being like you said when Weymouth came to town, the first game back for fans. I can see it being either of them. Max has gone 4-0. Show how ruthless we are. If we came out of this, I mean, the chances are slim, even though we're saying it. If we came 5 wins out of 5, what would that be? That would be 8 games, and we would have 20 points. Would it be? Out of a possible 24. That'd be class.
Yeah.
That would be very, very good, because the game after that is Woking at home. Now, Woking are no pushovers. No, they're a level above the teams we're about to play. We're still a winnable game for a side wanting to go up. So it'll be really, really interesting. We'll be at that game, obviously, doing our videos. As we've just said, if you would like a golden ticket to jump the queue and join Fan Hub, compete against other fans, keep track of how far exactly you've travelled from your door to Meadow Lane, adds it up over the season, puts you in leaderboards, see if you can become top for the Notts fans, maybe win yourself some prizes, just let us know. Again, that's not an advert, it's just a very good app. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for joining us.